Hey everyone, it's Frank, and today we're focusing on some essential questions for the Alabama CDL test. These cover critical knowledge for operating commercial motor vehicles safely and efficiently in Alabama. Let's get started. Is What is the most critical element of a pre-trip inspection for a commercial vehicle? Checking all critical components for defects before driving. This proactive check is your first defense against breakdowns and accidents. All right, what's next? What is the legal BAC limit for a CDL holder operating a CMV? Oh, 4%. This strict limit reflects the high level of responsibility in operating a commercial vehicle. Moving on. Which of these is a common cause of serious commercial vehicle crashes? Driver fatigue. Fatigue impairs judgment and reaction time, making it a major hazard. So what's next? What is the minimum tread depth for steering axle tires on a CMV? 432-inch. Adequate tread on steering tires is vital for control, especially in wet conditions. Next on our list, what does it mean if your vehicle's low air pressure warning light comes on? The air pressure in your tanks has dropped below 60 psi. This is a serious warning that requires immediate attention as brakes may not function. Okay, what's after this? What is the purpose of ABS, anti-lock braking system, on a commercial vehicle? Helps you maintain steering control during hard braking. ABS prevents wheel lockup, allowing you to steer while braking. Let's move on. How many reflective triangles must you carry in your commercial vehicle? 3. These are used to warn other drivers if your vehicle is stopped on the side of the road. What about this next one? When driving a CMV, how far ahead should you typically look down the road? At least 12 to 15 seconds. This gives you ample time to anticipate and react to changes in traffic or road conditions. On to the next question. What is the most important reason for wearing a seatbelt in a CMV? To protect you from injury in a crash. A seatbelt is your best defense against impact forces in an accident. Moving forward, what is hydroplaning and what should you do if it occurs? When tires lose contact with a wet road, ease off the accelerator and steer straight. Smooth, gentle inputs are key to regaining traction. Let's consider the next one. What is the purpose of slack adjusters on air brakes? They adjust brake lining wear. Slack adjusters keep the brakes properly adjusted as the linings wear down. And the next point. What should you do if you are being tailgated by another vehicle? Increase your following distance. This provides a larger cushion so you don't have to brake suddenly. What's next? What is the maximum acceptable play in the steering wheel of a large commercial vehicle? No more than 10 degrees. Excessive play makes the vehicle difficult to control and can be a serious safety hazard. Moving on to this. What is the primary purpose of blocking and bracing cargo? To prevent cargo from shifting in transit. Properly secured cargo maintains vehicle stability and prevents damage. All right, let's see. What does it mean if your vehicle has brake fade? Brakes lose effectiveness due to overheating. Brake fade reduces stopping power and can be very dangerous, especially on downgrades. What's after this? When coupling a combination vehicle, what is the first test you should do after connecting the tractor to the trailer? Pull gently forward against the trailer's set brakes. This confirms that the fifth wheel locking jaws are securely around the kingpin. Next question. What is the crack the whip effect in combination vehicles? The rear trailer swinging out sharply during a turn or quick lane change. This effect is dangerous and can lead to rollovers. Let's get to this one. What is the best way to slow down a CMV on a long downgrade? Use a low gear and engine braking, supplementing with light brake applications. This saves your service brakes from overheating. Okay, what's next? What is the common term for a tractor without a trailer? And why is it potentially dangerous to drive? Bobtail. It is very hard to stop smoothly. Without a trailer, there's less weight over the drive wheels, which can cause them to lock up easily. Moving on. What is the primary function of the air compressor governor? To control when the air compressor pumps air into the tanks. It regulates the air pressure in the system. So, what's next? How does the stopping distance of an empty combination vehicle compare to a loaded one? An empty combination vehicle generally takes longer to stop. This is because there is less weight over the drive wheels for traction. Next on our list, what is the purpose of glad hands in an air brake system? To connect the air lines between the tractor and trailer. These connectors allow air to flow to the trailer's air brake system. Okay, what's after this? What is the purpose of baffles inside a tank vehicle? To control liquid surge. Baffles reduce the sloshing of liquids, improving stability. Let's move on. What is off-tracking and how does it relate to combination vehicles? The rear wheels follow a different path than the front wheels, especially in turns. You must account for off-tracking when making turns to avoid hitting curbs or other obstacles. What about this next one? What should you do immediately if your tires start to lose traction on a slippery road? Ease off the accelerator and hold the steering wheel firmly. Avoid sudden braking or steering inputs to regain control. On to the next question. What is the minimum legal age for a driver to operate a commercial motor vehicle CMV in interstate commerce? 21 years old. Federal regulations require drivers to be 21 to cross state lines with a CMV. Moving forward, what does a dual air brake system mean? It has two separate air brake systems, one for the front and one for the rear wheels. This provides a backup in case one system fails. Let's consider the next one. How do you check for proper slack adjuster adjustment during a pre-trip inspection? By pulling on them. If they move more than 1 inch, they need adjustment. Properly adjusted slack adjusters are crucial for effective braking. And the next point, what should you do before backing a CMV? Get out and look, use mirrors, and use a helper if available. Always use all available resources to minimize blind spots and ensure safety. What's next? What is the main danger of using the trailer hand valve to brake while driving? It can cause the trailer wheels to lock up and skid. Using only the hand valve can lead to dangerous trailer jackknife. Moving on to this. When driving in very hot weather, what should you watch for regarding your tires? Tire pressure increase, potentially leading to blowouts. Heat expands the air in tires, increasing pressure beyond safe limits. All right, let's see. How do you test the low air pressure warning signal in your vehicle? Turn off the engine, turn on electrical power, and pump the brake pedal. The warning light and buzzer should activate before air pressure drops too low. What's after this? What is the most important thing to remember about braking distance for CMVs? It takes much longer to stop a CMV than a car. This fundamental difference dictates your following distance and braking strategy. Next question. What is the purpose of an alcohol evaporator in an air brake system? To help prevent ice from forming in the air brake valves in cold weather. This is particularly useful in colder climates. Let's get to this one. What is the danger of coupling a tractor to a trailer on ground that is not level? It can make the coupling more difficult and potentially unsafe. Uneven ground can make aligning and securing the kingpin much harder. Okay, what's next? What is the most important reason to check your mirrors frequently while driving a CMV? To be aware of traffic around your vehicle and in your blind spots. Constant mirror checks are crucial for maintaining situational awareness. Moving on. How often must a CDL holder renew their DOT medical examiner's certificate? Every 2 years, unless a shorter period is required due to a medical condition. Keeping your MEC current is a legal requirement for CDL holders. So, what's next? What should you do if your accelerator pedal sticks? Shift to neutral, apply brakes, and pull off the road safely. This sequence helps you regain control and safely stop the vehicle. Next on our list, when inspecting the fifth wheel coupling, what should you look for regarding the locking jaws? That they are fully closed around the kingpin. A secure connection is vital to prevent trailer separation. Okay, what's after this? What is the best way to handle a vehicle fire? Pull over safely, turn off the engine, exit, and call for help. Use an extinguisher if safe. Prioritize personal safety and getting emergency services involved. Let's move on. What is the primary purpose of the emergency spring brakes? To serve as emergency brakes if air pressure is lost and as parking brakes. Spring brakes are held back by air pressure. If air is lost, they engage automatically. What about this next one? What is a potential hazard of driving a combination vehicle with an excessively light load on the drive axles? Loss of traction. Without enough weight, the drive wheels can spin, especially on slippery surfaces. On to the next question. What does it mean if the air compressor cuts out, stops pumping air? The air tanks have reached their maximum pressure. This indicates the system is working correctly to maintain pressure. Moving forward, what is the critical step after connecting the airlines and electrical cable when coupling a combination vehicle? Raising the landing gear. The landing gear must be fully raised before driving. Let's consider the next one. What is the purpose of engine braking or retarders? To help slow the vehicle and reduce the need for service brakes. These systems help control speed, especially on downgrades, reducing brake wear. And the next point, what is the purpose of safety chains when connecting a converter dolly to a second trailer? To prevent the drawbar from dropping to the ground if the pintle hook fails. They provide a crucial backup connection. What's next? What does a red dashboard light for oil pressure typically indicate? Low oil pressure, which can cause severe engine damage. Stop immediately and address this, as it can ruin the engine. Moving on to this. When uncoupling a trailer after lowering the landing gear firmly onto the ground, what is your next step? Disconnect the air lines and electrical cable. This is the correct sequence to prepare for separation. All right, let's see. What is the primary concern when transporting heavy cargo with a high center of gravity? Increased risk of rollover. High centers of gravity make vehicles unstable, especially on turns. What's after this? What should you always do before descending a long, steep downgrade with a heavy load? Select a gear that allows you to control your speed without using the brakes excessively. Engine braking is key to safe descent. Next question. What is the typical cut-in pressure for the air compressor governor? Around 100 psi. The compressor should start pumping air when the pressure drops to this level. Let's get to this one. What is the significance of the National Registry of Certified Medical Examiners? CDL drivers must obtain their DOT physicals from examiners listed on this registry. This ensures that medical exams are performed by qualified professionals. Okay, what's next? Why is it important to ensure the fifth wheel is properly greased? To prevent steering problems and allow the tractor to turn freely under the trailer. Proper lubrication reduces friction and wear. Moving on. What is the critical rule for stopping at railroad crossings with certain CMVs, e.g., hazmat passenger vehicles? You must stop no closer than 15 feet and no farther than 50 feet from the nearest rail. This distance provides a safety buffer while maintaining visibility. So, what's next? What should you do if your vehicle's brakes fail completely? Downshift, use the parking brake slowly, and look for an escape ramp. Knowing emergency procedures is vital for brake failure. And that wraps up our review of these crucial questions for the Alabama CDL test. Understanding these details is essential for safe and compliant commercial driving. Keep up the great work and good luck with your exam.